We got some breaking news now.
Thank you.
Sirens ringing out in Israel. We'll go head back to Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Trey?
Yeah, Brett, some heavy explosions over Israel's second largest city of Tel Aviv. I'm going to have my cameraman pan to the sky here. You can still see some of the trail left behind from an interceptor that flew right over the building that we're in and took down a missile on the way to Tel Aviv. There were some explosions in the distance. Oftentimes when these interceptions happen, they're not actually hitting the missile by the time they get here. They're hitting the fragments of the missile after it's broken up from an initial interception. But these are massive. We've shown you images of them before, sometimes the size of a school bus when they're firing them. And again, just now, in between when we have spoken last earlier this hour, Brett, and at this moment, 2 rounds of missiles toward Tel Aviv. There are no reports of impacts at this moment, but the IDF says they are keeping people in shelters until they are sure that this barrage is finished. It just gives you a sense of how these Iranian missiles are trying to get past air defense systems. They're basically trying to overwhelm any of the systems on the outskirts of Tel Aviv. But given the fact that they've not been able to fire them in these large barrages with dozens of missiles at a single time, the interception rate has been quite high. We reported to you earlier this hour, a few light injuries have been reported. There are also images circulating from central Israel, close to the border with the West Bank, showing a crater impact and damage to a house. Again, no fatalities reported inside Israel, but each and every hour, multiple times, people rushing back into bomb shelters as interceptions take place overhead. Brett?
Yeah, the U.S. Operation Epic Fury, the Israelis call it Roaring Lion. You know, one of the things that the Israelis were worried about weeks ago was getting the ability to have that defense, the missiles and all of the armament that they need to take out those missiles. There's a confidence there in Israel that they have what they need?
Absolutely. We saw the C-17 transport planes that were arriving here in Tel Aviv over the past several weeks. You could hear them overhead, and a lot of them were carrying interceptors and missile defense systems, because it's not just the Iron Dome short-range system for the Israelis or the David Sling or the Arrow 2 and 3 system that just shot down that incoming fire. You also have Patriot missile defense systems and THAAD provided by the United States. And again, we talked about this earlier, but it's a point really to reiterate. In the months leading up to this, President Trump was very clear. He wanted the preparation to be in place. You saw Israel's prime minister going to the White House multiple times, and there was a coordination at every level to ensure there was not just synergy when it comes to offensive action against the Iranian regime, but also synergy on defensive action. They knew there would be a response from Iran targeting U.S. bases in the region. We've seen those images from Bahrain to the UAE to Qatar of the Iranians launching their short-range ballistic missiles. But we know, according to intelligence officials, they have 2,000 to 3,000 medium-range missiles that can hit major population centers in Israel. And that's the fire that's being intercepted right now. They are trying to target major cities here. The population remains in bomb shelters. But as we saw during the war last year, if one of these missiles slips through, it can take down a building with a single missile. Brett?
Oh, wow. Amazing. Breaking news. We'll head back for more. Trey Yingst, thank you. We will have continuing coverage just ahead here on Fox News Channel of the strikes inside Iran.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.